It is that panda guy, and I'm here again with another video. And today I'm going to be talking about Martin. I love Martin. I don't know if you've seen me in region chat or not region English chat, and I'm just always loving on Martin. Like if someone trash talks Martin, they're trash talking me. And today I'm going to be going over Martin, and I'll start off by showing you guys my talent tree, and I'll explain it a little bit. So when you're looking at my talent tree, you got to consider multiple things. One, I use him as an assistant or just a support hero, and so his talent tree isn't as useful to me. But for example, if I'm going to use him on alt, which I'll basically use him as a filler hero, and what I'll do is, let's say I'm missing a range hero, right? I will go down this range tree, max out the range tree, and then I'll invest in other places like in his support skill or his zombie hunter, just for like the traveling speed and maybe some squad HP basically. But I wouldn't, unless you're using him to maybe defend, and like then I wouldn't invest in all trees at once. And I kind of want to also mention something when talking about using Martin as a defensive hero. He's a good hero, but also bad in a sense of defending. And I want to kind of explain, based off Rise of Kingdoms. Like I don't know if people know, but there have been like heroes, and basically they have an effect like Martin where they can heal during the battle and constantly keep healing. And the biggest problem is, let's say you have a bunch of lightly wounded troops, right? It's going to be taking those lightly wounded and basically throwing them back into the field. If you're fighting a losing battle, you're high key in a really bad situation, because you're going to be filling up your hospital more by the end of the battle and possibly having more deads if your hospital is going to be full by the end of the battle. So it's not really a recommended, especially considering what enemy you might be facing, right? So it really also depends on that. But we're going to jump into his skills and kind of explain them. So when you look at Martin's first skill, basically it's a rage required skill, which I want to kind of mention is the same for basically, I think, all heroes. Their first skill requiring a rage, and that builds up through the battle. And basically it deals damage to the target. The damage factor depends on what skill level you have, but in my case it's 8,400. And it heals the lightly wounded troops in your squads for 45% of the damage that you deal. So basically, I think it's like, let's say you hurt 8,000 of their troops, you're going to be getting almost 4,000 of your troops thrown back into the fight, as long as they're lightly wounded troops. You can't just heal like heavily wounded troops. That's a way different story. All right, we're going to jump into a second skill, which says increases the healing effect on squads by 35%, which we'll say it starts at 12%, goes up to 15, goes up to 20, goes up to 25, and then maxed out it goes to 35. And basically the whole point of this one is, I think that it goes back to the first skill, and it basically increases the amount that you might be getting healed per batch on these skill dishes out. So this is why I love using Martin as a tank, on a tank. And I kind of want to explain that I do not use him as a main hero, at least on my main account. I'll sometimes use him on alternate accounts, just like I said, I feel. But if I'm using him on main, I'll use him as like Raygro's support, because what he does is he keeps Raygro alive so much longer. And even if it does give me more injured, basically having Raygro alive and tanking damage for longer can change the tide of a battle. It's really massive, and just using Martin as a tanked healer is just massive. All right, we're gonna hop into his third skill and kind of explain it here. It increases the XP gained by the squad leader and assistant hero by 50%, and then their HP by 12. So I'm pretty sure this is like a zombie based skill. It starts at 15% and goes up to 50 depending on what level you have it as. And I'm honestly not sure if the HP gain goes towards field combat as well, but I'm gonna be assuming that it does go towards zombies and field combat in that case. We're gonna look at his last skill, which is when healing is received, increases squad defense by 45% for 3 seconds. This effect can be triggered once in 6 seconds. Only once in 6 seconds. And basically, these skills are probably gonna be dishing out pretty often, and it'll just be making the tank basically beefier than it already is, right? Like Martin is a monster to be paired with on a tank. Like it just makes a tank basically just, I don't even know. Like it's so hard to take down a tank with Martin as his little sidekick, especially if you have a good squad behind him. We're gonna look at his last awakened skill, and basically it upgrades the damage factor that you'll be getting on the first skill. So basically, if you have 7,000 damage, it might go up to 8.4k. I don't know what the damage is before the awakened skill. I'm actually going to check on one of my accounts smelts. Okay, so I actually got it right on the dot, and basically it's 7,000 damage, and then after you awaken him, it's going to go up by 1.4k damage. And that might not seem like a crazy amount, but in the long run of a battle, that really makes a difference, especially being the fact that it helps you heal more troops back into the field, by doing more damage in the skill dish out. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I mean, not much I can say about Martin. He's a great hero. Even if you're not using him as a tank, I still think he's a good hero. And he's also a good zombie farmer. I mean, he's really sturdy. So out of all the heroes that you're going to be having, I think Martin is one of the better ones, especially to be pairing up with maybe Raygro and even possibly Peter, since Peter is pretty tanky, though. Like I said, I definitely prefer Raygro and him as a pair just because Raygro is way more tanky and, I mean, he just does his job. So I hope you guys enjoyed and you guys have a good day. Peace out.